There are moments in life where you feel a calling. You don't know exactly what it is or why you feel it, but something pushes you to move, to face what it seems impossible. That's how I felt the day I decided to climb Pen Ifan, the tallest mountain in Wales. But what I didn't know is that this mountain had much more to teach me than just reaching the top.
Es una aventura más de Icarus Venture y en esta ocasión vamos a escalar una de las montañas más bajitas o más altas de Gales, 886 metros. Estamos en Penifan y bueno, vamos a ver qué tal nos va con este grupo de exploradores y vamos a llegar hasta la punta más alta.
At first, everything seems easy. The excitement of starting something new, the initial energy that drives you to take the first step. In life, it's the same. We believe that we can handle everything, that challenges are simple from below, but it's only when you start walking that you realize how difficult the journey can be. Very soon, your legs begin to tire, the air feels heavier, and your body reminds you that you're not in your best shape. At that moment, it's easy to feel small, to feel like maybe you won't make it, and this is how we often face our own challenges. What seemed to be like a simple decision turns into an internal struggle. I started falling behind. My friends kept moving ahead, and I began to feel alone in this challenge. But the truth is, even though I didn't know it then, that loneliness was an illusion. Because just like in life, sometimes you don't need to rush, but walk at your own pace, trusting that support will come. And it was then that Saad, one of my friends, decided to stay with me. Without saying much, he simply walked by my side. At that moment, I realized I wasn't alone. And it was curious, isn't it? Sometimes we believe that we're facing things alone, but there's always someone willing to walk with us, even in silence. While we walk together, Saad and I talk about life, about how challenges change as we grow, how the expectations we had when we were younger shift over time. I realized that this mountain, every obstacle we face, teaches us something if we know how to listen. Climbing Penifan wasn't just a physical challenge, it was a reminder that in life it doesn't matter how big the mountain is in front of you. What really matters is the step by step and the people who choose to stay by your sides, even if the roads get tough. Sometimes your body begs you to stop. Every muscle screams that you cannot go any further. But this is where the mind steps in, where you start discovering what you're truly made of. It was not about rushing to the top, but moving forward, even slowly, with perseverance, trusting that you will get there, even if the road is longer than you thought. When we were finally reaching the top, something changed within me. It wasn't just the fact that we made it, it was the view, the perspective you gain from being in such a high place. Life is like that too. Sometimes when you look from below, problems seem gigantic. But once you reach to the top, you realize how far you have come and how small what worried you was really. The lesson in Penifan left me was clear. It doesn't matter how high the challenge is or how many times you fall behind. There will always be someone willing to walk with you. And every time you learning something bigger about yourself. The summit is just the result, but the real value lies in the journey, in the people who walk with you, and in the strength you discover inside yourself. Every mountain in life has a purpose, and even if you don't understand why, I assure you that every step is preparing you for something greater. Keep moving forward at your own pace and trust in the process. Climbing Penny Fan, I couldn't help but think about the movie The Snow Society, a true story about an incredible capacity of the human body to survive. In 1972, a Uruguayan plane crashed in the Andes, and the survivors fought for 72 days to stay alive in extreme conditions. This movie shows how, when faced with the most desperate situation, the human body can find strength you didn't know about. Something like that crossing my mind as I walk, tired, toward the top of Penifan. Sometimes we think we have reached our limit, but there's a deeper reserve of energy that only comes out when you truly push. The story of the survivors of Flight 571, which inspired the Snow Society, is a reminder that the human body is incredibly resilient. Roberto Canessa, one of the group's leaders, showed that even in the worst circumstances you can find strength to keep going, to not give up. As I climbed the mountain, I thought about how Roberto Canessa and Nando Parrado decided to walk for 10 days through the Andes in search of help. Those decisions weren't just physical but deeply mental. They understood that the key wasn't just their physical endurance but their emotional resilience. In the Snow Society, Roberto Canessa becomes the symbol of hope. His ability to lead the group, to motivate others to stay alive, is a testament to the human capacity to find purpose even in the darkest adversity. Climbing Penifan reminds me that even though our challenge was much smallest, we all need to find a purpose that drives us forward.
Moments slipping by, hope we're holding tight. Magic's in the sky, just beyond our sight. Whispers of a thrill echo through the night.
Nando Parrado, another one of the group's leaders, was crucial in that epic walk through the Andes. And as I climbed Penifan, I wondered if I could have the same leadership ability to make the right decision under pressure. It's not just the body that matters in this situation, it's the mind that takes control when everything seems lost. When Nando Parrado and Roberto Canessa decided to walk in search of help, they knew the odds of survival were slim. Yet they kept going. That courage, it saves them. On Penifan, as fatigue set in, I thought about how, when the mind and the body align, we can overcome any challenge, no matter how difficult the path is. The survivors of the Andes faced cold, hunger, and the constant presence of death, yet they found strength to endure. Climbing Penifan, with the cold wind in my face, I thought about how the human body has an immense capacity to adapt to anything. We grow accustomed to pain, to effort, as long as we have a reason to keep going. In the Snow Society, the survivors faced overwhelming isolation. They were cut off with no help, surrounded only by danger. Although my experience on Penifan wasn't remotely comparable, that feeling of isolation also appeared at a certain point during the climb. I realized that in the end, it all comes down to how we manage that feeling. Sometimes in that situation, the human body surprises you, like Roberto Canessa, who despite extreme fatigue, keep moving forward to find help. And climbing Penifan made me realize that our limits aren't just physical, but mental. Survivor Roberto Canessa has said in interviews that it's the worst condition that you truly discover what you're made of. And I glimpse that true. There are things inside of us that only reveal themselves when we push beyond what we thought was possible. One of the things I learned from the Snow Society is that although the body has limits, the mind cannot go beyond them. As I walked Penifan, I thought about the moment when Canessa and Parrado finally found help. It was the result of a titanic walk, an example of human potential. When faced with the ultimate limit, we also have that potential, though many times we don't realize it until we push us to the edge. Sometimes the path is harder than you expected, but that's where you find out what you're made of. I remember how Roberto Canessa never gave up in the Andes, even though the odds were against him. His story reminds me that there's always an inner strength pushing us forward, even when it seems like we can't go on.
Bueno amigos, pues vamos terminando esta aventura de subir a Pent y Fan en los Breakon Beacons. De verdad que fue una experiencia que no me esperaba. Estuvo bien interesante. Vencí mi hermano les podrá decir que yo no estoy muy bueno escalando. Aquí la verdad me la eché parejita. Ya se ven los resultados del gym. La verdad he estado fortaleciendo mucho mis piernas últimamente y se notó, me pude ir parejito la subida. Lo que sí me costó bastante fue la bajada. Me dolió bastante mis ¿cómo se llama? Mis dedos de los pies, como que los venía así como que deteniendo, y fue lo único. Pero de verdad es una experiencia maravillosa. Llegar hasta la cima se siente bien bonito y bueno, espero que algún día tengan una oportunidad de subir esta maravillosa creación de Dios, la naturaleza. Está precioso ver a los borreguitos. Miren, ahí están los borreguitos en las montañas y ver todo cómo está diseñado de una manera perfecta. No tiene comparativa. Y bueno, pues ya vamos a casa. Fue un día muy productivo, estuvo muy divertida la aventura. Y bueno, los invito a que nos sigan acompañando en estas más aventuras de Icarus Venture. Hasta la próxima.